Hello and welcome to SDN Tech Forum. Today I'm going to introduce you to a very useful tool called YANGsuite. Sometime before, this tool was not available for general public, but now Cisco has graciously hosted this on their DevNet platform. That means it is available for everyone. Before this, we have done some Yang talk already on our channel, right? So I have introduced you some other tools, but this tool by far is much more advanced and better. So let's get started with this. All right. So what we have in agenda, what is YANGsuite? We'll talk about some of the key feature for YANGsuite, and then eventually we'll try it ourselves. That means I'm going to show you one of the installation type. Then we will connect to a physical box, that means a switch or a router, and from there on we will do edit config or get config. So we will actually use this tool. All right. What is YANGsuite? YANGsuite is a powerful software solution designed by Cisco to help network engineer or a company manage their network more efficiently. It provides a comprehensive set of tools for working with Yang data model, including automated validation, visualization, conversion. With Yang Suite, you can easily create, edit, validate Yang model. That means you can do complete configuration management using Netconf or Yang models, as well as you can generate code in multiple programming language. So it has nice integration with other programming languages as well. Key feature, again, as I mentioned, this relies on Yang model, and today more and more vendors, they are coming up with Yang and Netconf as open standard. That means it is going to be a one consistent way to manage your network. If you have multiple vendors, right, it's not that you are tied to one particular CLI, say Cisco or Juniper. Everyone is stepping forward and making Yang models available, so you can use Yang Suite, which relies on Netconf as a protocol, to do a configuration management across your network with whether you are using Cisco or any third-party gear. One of the key features of YANGsuite is ability to generate Python code directly from Yang models. This allows developers to quickly build custom application that leverage the power of Yang without having to write low-level code. So you can use the Yang attributes like XPath, etc., and automate your workflow. So now we are going to try YANGsuite ourselves. Where you can find YANGsuite, you can find it in github.com for Cisco DevNet repo. If you visit this link under Cisco DevNet, there are multiple tools or software Cisco DevNet is hosting, and we are interested in YANGsuite. Okay. And again, as I mentioned, this is not very first time we are talking about Netconf. If you go to SDN Tech Forum and search with Netconf, this is a snippet, but we have more. We have one other tool called Yang Explorer, which was available for general public um, before this thing. So I have done a video about Yang Explorer. I have done a deep dive on what is Netconf, what is the different kind of model looks like, and how you can enable it on a switch or a router and all those things. So if you're new to Netconf, I recommend you go watch a couple of videos on the channel and come back and install this. All right, now what we are going to do, we are going to go to Cisco DevNet and look at the GitHub page. All right, as you can see, last commit here update is 5 months ago. So this is maintained. That means it's not like just publish and abandon. It's continue engagements or contributions are happening. All right. So Cisco YANGsuite, YANGsuite can be installed as Docker container. That is fantastic, right? You can contain your resource uses and easily start, stop as a Docker container. So Docker Compose is the recommended install. However, it is not needed that you have to have a Docker. You can pretty much install it in any kind of software. or operating system, and I'll talk about that. YANGsuite require 3.5 GB of memory to load large Cisco native model. So if you are using YANGsuite to deal with large boxes, say iOS XR service provider boxes, which are sometimes full rack chassis, you can imagine the software is very heavy, very versatile. So you may uh, YANGsuite may use maximum 3.5 GB of memory. So make sure your development machine has enough memory and CPU capacity, though it's not very CPU heavy. YANGsuite resources, landing page, documentation. I highly advise you go and read some documentation. What is the prerequisite? Not much. If you're using Docker install, or you can use Python install. For Python, you need Python version 3.8 minimum. I'm sure everybody has moved to 3.9 and above by this time. Then you can see we have port 80, which Docker uses internally and map or expose it to 8443. That means when you install it as a Docker service, you will be using port 8443 to access the container. And these are the some of the telemetry port, which we will talk about when we will deal with um, gRPC. All right. Prerequisite for Docker, we are not going to deal into that. It's very simple, very straightforward installation. Clone the repo. Obviously, to clone the repo, you need to copy the file or code from here. And if you are new to GitHub, again, you can go to SDN Tech Forum and listen to videos which show you how to work with GitHub, right? But I'm assuming since you're at DevNet, you have somewhat exposure to GitHub. So what you have to do, you have to just clone this repo locally to your IDE or your development machine. From there, you go to the directory and you'll say start YANGsuite.sh, which is a script. So first time you have to run this and it will ask some questions. As you can see, there is a snippet here and it is asking you what is your country looks like and all those things. When you do stat yangsuite.sh, it will ask you to set a username, a password. Do you want to generate a certificate? What kind of key you want to generate? Country name, etc., etc. So this is a nice snapshot, a screenshot, or snippet of the screen of the process, but we will do it in real time so you can witness. Right. Once you do that, your YANGsuite is ready to use, and it will tell you that you can now access YANGsuite using HTTP localhost, but don't forget to put 8443 if you are installing it as a Docker. So this bash script you have to run only once. From there on, if you want to start, all you have to do is either you come to the directory and say YANGsuite or run docker compose up. All right. So this is the Docker installation. You can also do pip install on Mac OS. So for pip, you can use homebrew or brew install. You install some virtual environment, make sure that you have the right Python, etc. But we are not taking this route, so I'm not touching on this. But if you are interested, you're a Mac user, you want to run it natively, this is how you can do pip install. Also, this is available for Windows users as well. So you can use Windows, but obviously you need WSL, that means Linux inside the window. And this functionality is available for some time now, called Windows Subsystem Linux, so that you can install it just like pip install using Python 3. All right, we are not taking this route as well. We will use Docker install. The next thing what I want to show you here is right now, as you can see, localhost 8443 is not connecting because we don't have Docker Compose installed. Next thing what I want to show you here is we have this switch, which is Cat9K switch, and we will, when we have Netconf YANGsuite installed, we will connect to this switch using Netconf port 830. So let's quickly do a baseline. You must have a username defined, which can give you privilege 15. All right. What else you can do? We are going to see what is the IP address we are going to use, and also we will see if we are running netconf. To see that, what you can do, you can say show netconf yang status. And as you can see, we have netconf yang enabled and we are using port 830. All right, so this is our baseline. Now let's go and try to install netconf. As you can see, I have already cloned it for you. And if we do ls-l, you can see we have this thing in cloned. All right. So from here on, what we can do, we can do a start YANGsuite and .sh, or you can do docker compose YAML, because I have already run this once. So let me simply type. First, let me just activate the virtual environment, which is a good practice. So I'm going to use a virtual environment called base. And now let me just say YANGsuite or docker compose, or let's start that one more time. Okay, start YANGsuite. Please set up YANGsuite admin user. I'm happy with the admin password. Confirm password. This is increasing the length of the video, but I think I just want to show you once. Will you access the system from remote host? I'm going to say no. Email. Building Docker container. Okay. Fail to execute Docker compose. So I think right now Docker is not running in my system, and that is why I'm getting this error. Yeah. So Docker is not running. So we have to first start the Docker, and then we can come back and do this thing again. All right. Let me quickly install Docker, or start Docker basically. Obviously Docker is one of the requirement here. I'm going to start this. So you may have to have a Docker desktop. If you are on Mac, you can install that, or if you are on some other system, you can also do a virtual machine install, say Lima install, and have Docker running as a VM. Okay, so right now you can see we have YANGsuite, which was built earlier, but it is exited because we shut down the Docker. All right, now let me do this thing one more time. And why not do the next thing, right? Docker compose. Let's see. Compose. Okay, so Docker compose up. That's the command, I believe, but let me check. So first time where you're installing, you want to do the show script. Otherwise, what you can do, run Docker compose up. That's the command. So we are in Docker, and from there on, we want to do Docker compose up, and this CLI may differ. I know. Can you see that? This is the problem. It's actually creating or composing other container as well, right? Maybe I don't want nginx to install, but anyways, we can take care of that. Okay, master is here. So it is basically already. All right, so make sure your Docker environment is looking good. And now let me see if I can connect to 8443. Yes. And let me just bring this a little bit down here. As you can see, we can log into 8443. It's asking me, okay, I'm going to say this is unsafe so that we can pass this security check. In Chrome, since the certificate is not valid, a self-signed certificate, what you can do, you can just say this is unsafe, and that should pass the screen. As you can see, you are presented with Cisco YANGsuite user agreement. Obviously, if you want to proceed further, you need to accept the EULA and user license agreement and online privacy agreement. So I'm happy with that. Let me submit. And as you can see, we have the username and password, which I set during the first time install, not because during this session I was not able to install, but I have done this before, so I know what is my password, and I hope I use the same password. Voila, we are here. Cisco YANGsuite, and it is a welcome page. It tells you a lot of things here. It's very busy page. Talks about welcome to Cisco YANGsuite, and then for Docker based installation, what you need if you are using uh, some kind of testing and you need SSL or TSL certificate, what you can do, how you can meet that requirement. And also at the same time, we have YANGsuite documentation. Complete documentation is here. Highly recommend you to spend some time on documentation, understand device profile, file manager, working with Yang model, because I'm going to show you a few things here, but we cannot, this is very vast, so we won't be able to talk about each and everything. As you work with this tool, you will gain experience, but my recommendation is read the documentation before you decide to take a deep dive. All right. So here we have on the left side some tabs. As you can see, admin, pretty much administrative task. You can manage user. That means today I have a user and I can create further user. I can create group and assign user to group and all those things. I can do that. All right, let's go back. What else we have? We have manage plugins, YANGsuite device. These are the core YANGsuite plugin, but you can bring third-party plugins as well. And this is like, uh, you know, this is like Ubuntu uh, apt apt-get upgrade. So you can obviously refresh your plugins. And this is a complete list of Python environment. You can view logs, application logs, right? You can set the verbosity and then you can load logs. Let's go to next page, which is setup, Yang files and repo, Yang module set, device profile. Let's look at them one by one. So this is my setup and it is asking to select a Yang module repo. Today we don't have any repo, but what we can do, we can go ahead and create a repo, right? But let me not create a repo because we want to read Yang module or load Yang module from network device. So for that, what do you want to do? Let's look at Yang module set quickly. Select a Yang set, nothing because there is no device loaded, right? and I can just link it to the Yang set with a repo. So this is like a order of operation thing. First, what we want to do, we want to go to setup and create a device profile so that we can read Yang modules from the device live, right? So what I want to do, I want to create a new device, and my device type is Catalyst 9K. So I'm going to say Cat 9K, because Cat 9K, if they have same software version, they'll pretty much will have the same Yang modules, right? So I'm going to say this is Cat 9K profile. Address is like your IP address for the device. I have shown you that. Variable, etc. These are all good. I don't want GNMI. So as you can see, there are multiple protocol support: GNMI, Netconf, I think gRPC, RESTconf, etc. are also there. You can also do SSH. So there are many variants how you want to connect to your device. So we are focusing on Netconf here. So I will say enable Netconf, device support Netconf, and default is, I'm going to say, RFC compliant device. Of course, this is RFC compliant device, but I'm going to select Cisco iOS XE because I know Catalyst 9K I'm running iOS XE. Skip SSH key validation for this device. This is safe because we are not doing any SSH. So let's go ahead, create a profile, select device profile, and now check selected devices reachability. We want to make sure that the profile what we created, we can reach. So as you can see, connectivity check result, ping successful, netconf successful. Amazing. All right. So this is my setup. We have created device profile. These are the protocol support. As you can see, GNMI, gRPC, telemetry, netconf, restconf. So it's not just netconf. You can do multiple things. Like if you want to do streaming telemetry, probably gRPC you want to do. And then if you're building some application, you can use restconf. Configuration management comes handy with netconf. So this is very vast, right? Now what we want to do, we want to load profile. So for that, what you want to do is create default repo in YANGset. Creating repo for YANGset for Cat9K. And it will take some time because it's reading from the device in real time. As you can see, we have a netconf over SSH session going on from YANGsuite to the device, right? And this may take some time, but at the very end, what will happen, you'll have the complete Yang module loaded in this Yang suite. So you can have the complete hierarchy of Yang module, say interface, how many interfaces we have, routing, and any ACL, etc. Everything will be populated in terms of Yang schema. And from there, what you can do get config. That means you can ask, okay, show IP interface brief and how many interfaces are up. You can do some that kind of get config, or you can do edit config. That means you can configure things like you can configure routing, you can shut no shut interfaces, and so on. And this is not one-to-one devices. You can script it, and you can do batch configuration, batch push of configuration, all those things you can do. Success repo admin cat9k default repo is this, and our YANGsuite repo is created. Now I'm going to go. As you can see, we have the default repo now populating, and voila, this is the complete list of modules, Yang modules, right? And that is why it told you in the beginning, it tells you in the beginning that it may take maximum 3.5 GB of space, depend which switch or router you are talking to. You can also bring additional files and upload files to the repo. So what we want to do from here, we want to do some edit config, but I think it is getting a little bit overwhelming and the video length is getting larger. So I will stop here, and then we can have a follow-up video where we'll be talking about how to do a load, get config, edit config, etc. and touch base on gRPC as well. So I hope you like this video. Please do like, subscribe, share, tell your colleague, co-workers, and thank you. Spread a word.